my name is Milena, and Green Forest webinars are online to help you study English grammar. Today we continue talking about the structures of the past, and in this little webinar we are going to go down the memory lane. We're going to talk about our sentimental memories, or in other words, what are the structures that we use to remember our past, different things that we did, different habits, states, and facts from our past. We will discuss three structures: past simple, used to, and we will introduce one more structure, which is would, that all of them we use to talk about the past, about our past experiences, past habits, and so on. My beautiful assistant will help me today to share my presentation with you. And from you, I will need to prepare papers, pens or pencils, because our webinar is not simply a presentation, but it's also an interactive activity. You will need to practice, to write some answers and check them. In case you have some questions, I will help you and answer them gladly. You can ask your questions online. So let's begin our presentation. Okay, so today those are the structures that we're going to talk about: used to, would, and past simple. What is the difference? What do they have in common? And how to use them? Well, you already remember that when we talk about things that happened in the past but do not happen anymore, we can do it using some ways. For example, past simple, you already know that. We have discussed that half an hour ago. Used to, or one more structure, modal verb would. So used to. We can use it to talk about past states, or we can use it to talk about repeated past actions. For example, we used to live in New York when I was a kid. Or I used to smoke, but I gave up a few years ago. Please remember that used to is only for past states or actions. For single completed events, we use past simple. For example, I was born in 1990, or I graduated from university, or I got married, and so on. Single facts are with past simple. Let's move on. What is would? Let's have a look at the sentence. Every Saturday, I would go on a long bike ride. Or, my sister would always borrow my dresses. Both sentences reflect my memories, my reminiscence about my childhood or my school years or my summer holidays some years ago, something that doesn't happen anymore. So as you can see, we can also use would to talk about repeated past actions in the past. In other words, would or used to is possible in this case. In this case, for repeated past actions or habits, they're sort of synonymical structures and can interchange each other. But you need to remember one little thing. Only used to is possible when we talk about states. For example, I used to be slimmer, or I used to have long hair, something like that. I used to hate broccoli. States, which is non-continuous, which is non-action. Please remember, for repeated past actions, both would, used to are possible, but for past states, only used to is possible. Good. And here is a small cumulative table to help you orient a little bit in the structures used to and would. And if you have a look at them, for actions and states, we can use used to for repeated past actions or usual states in the past. And for repeated past actions, we can use only would. States, in this zone, you have a red cross. And please observe the composition of positive sentences, negative sentences, and questions for both structures. Okay, guys, I hope you have had enough time to read the examples. Let's move on. So let's summarize all this information. If you want to talk about single events in the past, you use past simple. I graduated from university in, and you tell when. For past states, which are not true anymore, you can use past simple or used to. They are synonymical structures in this case. I used to hate fish in my childhood, or I hated fish in my childhood. And for past actions in form of habits, repeated activities, you can use all three tenses, all three structures, past simple, or used to, or would. We would sing songs on camping holidays, or we used to sing songs on camping holidays, or we sang songs on camping holidays at school. Of course, you can logically ask a question, why do we need so many different structures which reflect almost the same? And the answer is style, because when you start a long story about your when you start a long story about your past and you want to talk at length about what you did and how your life used to be and your daily routines, etc. Of course, it's not nice to repeat the same structure in every sentence. So, for style reasons, to change, to avoid repetition, to make your speech more interesting, maybe more sentimental or more lively, you can interchange those structures, of course, according to those rules that you see in front of you. And of course, we need to mind the trap. We always use the structure used to for states in the past and for questions about past habits and states. So when you want to ask a question, normally it's logically to ask it with the structure used to. It's normal. For example, I used to have two best friends at school. You don't say I would have, because to have is possession, it's a state, it's not an action. Or, did you used to listen in the lessons? Did you used to listen to your teachers in the lessons? And normally you wouldn't ask this question, would you listen in the lessons? Because it can be interpreted in a different way, not in the way that you mean it. So please remember this information. And again, I repeat that why do we need would? As you can see from this little information, both used to and would can be used to describe repeated past actions, and they are interchangeable. But from the point of view of style, would is slightly more formal, more bookish, and can convey the idea that you are talking about the past in a sentimental way, like a vivid memory from your childhood or from your school years, something like that. Something like your grandmother or grandfather, or maybe your parents can tell you about their lives. Good. So now let's practice. What we need to do is to complete the sentences with used to and would. In some cases, both structures are possible. And you remember in which case only used to is possible and in which case both of them are possible. So you will analyze the sentences that I project to you. You will need to write down your answers. If both are possible, write both. And after that, I will show you the answers. Mhm. Okay, guys, I'm back. I hope you've had enough time to analyze these sentences and write down your answers. Let's check. Mhm. Good. Just a moment. So the first one, used to have. It's only one possibility because to have a bird is a state. Hmm? My mother used to read or would read. Both options are possible. We used to meet or we would meet. Again, both are possible. Number 4, I didn't used to like spinach. Only one option because like it's a state verb. Helen used to write or would write to me often. Number 6, used to live. Number 7, used to be warmer. And number 8, we used to cheer or would cheer. Oh, sweet school days. Yeah. Let's continue. The next slide. Now, for each of the following sentences, you need to choose used to or would. If both of them are possible, use would. For example, do you remember how your Uncle David sit in the chair and smoke those disgusting cigars? Well, sit is an action verb, so technically we can use used to and would. Because both are possible, for simplicity, I ask you to write only would. So you would write, Uncle David would sit in that chair. Now I will project you the rest of the sentences. You will analyze them and choose one of the options. Give you a couple of minutes to write your answers. Okay, guys, I'm back to the studio. I hope you managed to analyze the sentences and let's have at our answers. Let's have a look at the key. Okay, so the first one, as I told you, Uncle David would sit. And with this structure, I hope you feel how much more sentimental and interesting this phrase becomes. It's like your grandfather or your mother tells you something about her school holidays. Hmm? Sentence number 2. Your mother used to have. To have is possession, non-continuous. Used to. Number 3. They would go on holiday. Of course, would go. Both options are possible, but we use only would because go is an action verb. Number 4. I would write a diary every day, but then I got bored. Yeah, maybe it's true. Maybe it was my life that was boring. Number 5. They used to be very happy. And again, to be is a state verb. Number 6. When I was 5, I used to be able to do incredible gymnastics. And number 7. I would ride a bicycle everywhere. Good. Have a look, analyze again. And again, I repeat. Whenever you can use would, you can equally use used to. But we avoid using used to in every sentence when we talk about our past. And if possible, we try to interchange it with would. And finally, to analyze our information, I will offer to correct some mistakes, and some of the sentences are already okay. So let's have a look at them. I will project them. You will analyze them. If the sentence is good, you just write okay. If the sentence is wrong, you need to correct the mistake. Good. So for example, the first one, I used to be born. It's strange. It's not repeated activity. It just happened once. So I was born. You analyze the rest of them and I will show you the answers. Okay, guys, I'm back. So let's correct my mistakes. So the next one. Of course, we used to have a nice car, not would have. State verb, used to have. Number 3 is okay. It's a very nostalgic memory. She would always cook delicious food. Number 4 is also okay. He didn't used to be a shy person. Number 5, she used to hate eating fish. Again, hate is a state verb, not action. Number 6 is okay. He used to be. Number 7, they just got married and it happened once. Single event in the past. Past simple. Number 8 is actually okay. She would always wear strange clothes. And number 9, I used to believe. Because again, believe is not the action, it's a state verb. Look through your answers. Oh, excuse me, guys. And sentence number 8, it has a second part. Yes, the second part. She used to have long hair. Excuse me that I didn't. I omitted this information in the answer. So the first one would always wear. It's okay, but she used to have long hair. I'm sure you have noticed this mistake and you have corrected it. Great job. Okay, and yes, it was a great job. I'm back to the studio. And here I am again. Thank you so much for your attention. And if you join us later, I hope it will also be useful for you to look through this video, do the exercises, correct my mistakes as well. And good luck with the English, and good luck with a lot of interesting stories about your past. Thank you so much for your attention and see you soon.